winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. I'm always looking at my time and trying to get my personal best, because if I beat me, then I've improved. I can move forward. God is not going to put you next to somebody else at the judgment seat and he's going to be like, well, this person did this and you did that, therefore they're better than you and you're not making it in. He's going to judge you on what you did, what you thought, who you were. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Today for Tomorrow podcast. My name is Martell.
Rodney.
Mike Wright.
And today, I'd like Mike to tell us about what his coach was saying before.
Yeah, so this is a saying that I was thinking about this week. You know, I just had some challenges and I had to really lock in. And so I test the guys. We have a Tuesday morning call every Tuesday. And, I was feeling inspired, feeling motivated. So I just felt like testing the guys. And the saying is, it's outlasting your opponents. Okay. And it came from a football coach that I had in college. And he was always talking about, I was a defensive player, linebacker. And he's basically like, listen, we don't have to be the strongest. We don't have to be the fastest. We don't have to be the best players. But we got to be faster than them in the right moment. We got to be a little bit stronger than them in the right moment. We have to be a little bit better than them. And I was just thinking about the terminology, just how it's applicable to life, really, because you only really lose when you quit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in most circumstances, as long as you keep fighting to find a solution, even though it may be a little uncomfortable, it may not be the original plan of action, you only really lose when you quit.
Yep. If you get in shape, if you have endurance, and you play in a game, I don't care what it is, basketball, football, baseball, whatever, wrestling was a perfect example. You get to that third period of wrestling, you just ain't got no more juice. But if you got more juice than your opponent, even if that joker is stronger than you, even if you've been losing, if you got more stamina and you strong in the end, you can win a lot of matches.
When I was in high school, we would have like these kind of tests where you would have to run, X amount of miles, and they're timing you because you need to be, improving that time every semester. And so, like when you're looking at everybody else that's running around the track, or you're looking at the person who's actually on the distance team, they're full on going and they've got an amazing pace and they're passing up everybody else, but you're going and you're getting tired and like, shoot, man, I don't know if I'm gonna do another lap. And it's like you slow down. But if you stop, you failed.
Yeah.
You failed the test. You actually, the teacher will, you will fail gym class if you stop moving. The teacher did not say you need to be going as fast as Jimmy, who's on the actual distance team. Yeah. He just said you need to finish. And so going, you could walk, you could crawl, you could sit on the side for a second and mosey your way over. But as long as you finish, you actually get a grade. You just get the completion. And that's all that actually matters, is that you completed it. And so that's the first thing that I started to think about, because like it's so easy to be looking at, it's easy to be looking at other people and the pace that they're going at. And it's also easy to be like, well, shoot, I'm tired. Therefore, I should stop. But when you stop, you don't get that grade. You don't get that check mark.
So when you see that person like moving ahead of you, that's just like blowing it away, and you like, that in itself can become discouraging.
Definitely.
And then that whole thing about not quitting, because we can get discouraged because somebody's running the race faster than us and they're ahead of us, and it looks like they're gonna win. So we're like, well, why we need to keep running the race then?
Things that aren't always what they appear to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because essentially in life, when we're talking about life, we're all running an individual race. You know what I'm saying? So somebody may appear to be a little further, but I've seen people sprint into the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're just worried about going, fast, what I think you really should worry about is going in the right direction, which it could take a little bit more time or seem like more time, because So just to be clear, everybody, it's not a sports podcast, all right?
No, it's not.
We're using sports analogies for life principles. All right, so just to bring this back to life, a lot of people, especially right now, like I have younger sisters, I notice where, and I think, I hate to always, blame social media, but I think social media plays a big part because everybody's throwing up their highlight reel. And so it's easy to seem like, man, I'm not, everybody's passing me by. This guy I went to high school with, he's driving a Ferrari. I'm driving a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so the thing is, man, you gotta always go back to your center, your grounding. And this is why, the faith is so important because if you don't really have something to turn to other than the opinions of other people, like, through social media or even conversation. And it can even be from loved ones, man. It's just because people are gonna love you and give you advice based on their perspective. Yeah. They may have been taught that blueprint also. So they're gonna teach you from a similar standpoint. But this is where you gotta make decisions to put yourself around people that are gonna expand your mind, and then really just go back to that faith piece, man. You gotta get in that good book and just read for yourself, get some principles, and just seek answers in what direction you should be going.
Everyone else, like, who comes to it is looking at this person versus this person. But the people who have made it there, here's a quote that I just heard the other day. I thought it was profound. Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. Because in track,
no, that's real. I like that.
I'm always looking at my time and trying to get my personal best, because if I beat me, then I've improved. I can move forward. But if I'm looking at you and what you did, I have no idea what, like you said, like we're talking about social media, I have no idea the background. I have no idea what the training is. I'm not God, so I don't know what your makeup is. There's a limit on me, but I know that as long as I work on with what I got, I can improve. And that's what at the end of the day, God is not gonna put you next to somebody else at the judgment seat and he's gonna be like, well, this person did this and you did that, therefore they're better than you and you're not making it in. He's gonna judge you on what you did, what you thought, who you were.
Understanding that the opponent you actually trying to outlast is yourself.
Yeah, it's your mental a lot of time. Our brain was designed many, many moons ago. Life was very, very different. We're designed to be ultra aware, you have that anxiety, but that's really based on life and death circumstances. When people were living amongst wild animals, you had to be hyper aware of your surroundings. Fast forward to how most of us are living today. We still have the design though. So our mind would tell us, oh, it's danger. Oh, this is tough. Oh, we can't do it. We got to shut it down. And it's like, really, most people are shutting it down way sooner than they really even touch capacity. Because your mind is telling you, this doesn't feel good. I'm getting anxiety. I need to go take a nap. Shut it down.
I need to go take a nap.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what, man, you know what?
Too much.
You probably is, but it's an exercise.
Yeah, but you're right.
You have to work through going through these situations and then taking your feelings out and just saying, nope, we're doing it anyways.
But that shutdown piece, I mean, we were laughing, but it's for real. I mean, I don't know about you. I've dealt with people, worked with people who, when it got tight, it's like, they're not responsible. Yeah. They're not responsible. Like, hey, we need to get.
I ain't dealing with that.
Exactly.
Out of here.
It's like, well, we need to do work on the project. That they like ghost you almost. And then, they'll show up at the meeting that you got to report out at but they actually want to take their hands off, like they had nothing to do with it at that point. Yep. So they, and I see, same thing we talk about, our spiritual walk. And this is just fresh in my brain, so forgive me, but there's a lot of fake Christians. Okay, and what I'm just saying, and I'm just, it's just fresh in my so hey, the thing I'm saying is that, man,
What's their name?
Tell me all of them. List them out.
Oh, God know who they are. God know who they are. But I'm just saying something looks suspicious to me. But anyway, so but the thing is, so you got folks, man, they are in it. They go to church every Sunday. They in there. They on the door doing whatever they serving. But man, as soon as that trouble comes, as soon as that drama comes, it's like the Bible nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
It's like, so they don't have the endurance because they not getting the reps in. They not studying. Yeah. They're not living it. So how can you have endurance if you ain't working out? You can't run a race you ain't trained for.
The error lies in the humanness of the people.
Yes.
The word is still, and I had to learn that as an adult. I had to really go back and search for myself, because you would say, like, I see all these fake Christians. I don't really want to be a part of that. But the whole thing is, you don't have to be a part of that. People are who they are. Now, you have people that are really doing a daily fight. They're getting the reps in, because nobody's perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all going to fall short in some way, somehow. But the thing is, do we show up every day and we keep getting the reps in? Yeah. To me, that's what someone on their Christian walk is about. Just every day you're showing up and you're looking to get closer to God, and you're looking to pour into other people. If you see somebody falling down, pick them up. Don't just, look at that guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He'll pick them up,
Exactly.
What are the reasons that make us quit? Like, why do we stop? Because I'm thinking, like, okay, one thing that we've already touched on is the whole comparison thing, because obviously when you're in every area, really, when you're talking about relationship, when you're talking about business, when you're talking about your career, health, whatever, when you start comparing yourself to somebody else, that can quickly get you discouraged about yourself. Pro tip, if you really trying to go after anything, stop looking at social media for someone else who's already done it, because you just don't compare yourself to them, because that's just toxic. That's just throwing poison into your mind of that vision.
Oh yeah. I mean, people wake up and they want to be Kim Kardashian. Like,
you're not gonna be. Kim Kardashian is the only Kim Kardashian. Her sisters ain't even her.
They're not.
Social media is a tool. If you're using it to market your business, show what you're doing, that's great. If you're using it to be inspired, you get inspiration by sins, that's great. But if you're using it to say, I want to be Kim, you got to be careful with that, because things aren't exactly what they seem. You don't know. We see it all the time. I mean, celebrities, depressed, suicide. You're like, man, people would have never thought, what do they have to be sad about? But you have to be, it's just a very slippery slope when you start looking and saying, I want to be like that, because you don't know what all comes into the factor with that.
And that like gray area of ignorance where you don't know, you start to feel like, well, shoot, how are they doing it and I can't do it? Like, something must be working for them and I don't know, I don't have the answer. So I think that's another reason why people quit, is because they get to a point, first, well, they might be comparing themselves to somebody else, but also they might just not know all the answer. They might not know the answer and not have the resilience enough to just keep moving. We've talked about it 100,000, a billion, gazillion times.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of times. It's a lot of times. We got people who will quit because they might have had this big old vision, this ginormous vision, and they started moving. Then they realized they hit a wall, realized, I don't know how to actually get around this thing. So therefore, I'm gonna stop.
You said, why do people quit? So it's like, and it just, I'm like, wow, but then I remember getting in my last semester in college. And it's like, it seemed like stuff was just hitting me from all angles. And you just frustrated.
Stack attack.
Exactly. Oh, stack attack. I love it. And so, but at the same time, I'm like, quitting wasn't I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah. But I said, now I see.
Yeah, it gets tough.
People get frustrated with what's going on. Yeah. And the easiest thing to do is give up something that you feel is eating up your time, or you go shift somewhere else. So that whole thing, I think your question was good about why people give up. You framed it, you might did, but then I think fear. Yeah. Fear of failure for one. Then people give up because of the discouragement, like you said, that whole comparison thing. People give up, and then people, man, I mean, honestly, if your heart ain't in it, if it's somebody else's dream and your heart ain't really in it,
That's important. That's important.
you're not gonna stick with it.
We want to control the outcome. Yeah. We want this goal to be accomplished, and like you said, if we're moving, but we're not necessarily at that goal, a lot of people will say this is a failure. It's a failure. The whole thing is we have to move our target from there back to here. What do we control? Only thing we truly control is our effort and our attitude in each moment. Mm-hmm. We don't control the outcome. You can, because this is a reality too. You can have the most positive attitude, maximum effort, and you still may not accomplish what you thought you should.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when it gets tough.
Yeah. I'm
not gonna lie, because I've been in moments like that where I'm like, man, I feel like I'm doing everything, and it's still not working out. That's when you gotta go back to your faith, and you have to, being a real Christian, you gotta be faithful. In times of discomfort, that's another reason why people quit too. It's uncomfortable.
It is, yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Pro tip on the point that he was just making there. If you are ever in the gym, right, and say you're working out by yourself or you're working out with somebody, but you got X amount of reps that you're trying to get in. When I start going and I'm starting lifting and I get to that point where it's like, okay, I might be stopping pretty soon. I don't know if I'm gonna get all these reps in. One thing that always helps me out is, so say I got 25 to do, but, well, say I'm trying to go to failure or something, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I probably can get around 25. Yeah. And so I'm going, and then I'm still thinking about 25, shoot, I'm at 12, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep going. Yeah. When I remove the 25 and then I say, well, shoot, can I get to 15? Then I can get a couple more. I'm like, well, shoot, I got to 15. Yeah. Maybe I can get to 18. Yeah. I get another one in. I said, well, shoot, if I can get to 18, I'm getting closer and closer. Can I at least get to 19? If I get to 19, I'm gonna be done with it. I get to 19 and say I stop there, but I'm way further along than if I stopped at 12.
And once again, I want to connect the dots for everybody to make sure they understand. We're not just talking about lifting weights right now. This is life principles. This is something. It's a mindset. You're taking your mind through reps of accomplishing, pushing yourself, getting through. And so if you can do it in this arena of lifting weights, then you can apply the same mindset and principles into when life challenges come.
On the point that you were making earlier, I think you definitely did hit on another reason why people quit, and it was the reason. I'm gonna condense it into a sentence though. Right. The why isn't big enough. The thing that I'm actually going after, it doesn't matter enough to me to overcome the obstacle. Therefore, you know what? Let me just do something else.
I don't know about you, but I know I've asked myself that question when things get tight. Okay, why am I doing this? And you got to do an evaluation, like you said. And I love that. I don't care, it's work or whatever. You're like, why am I doing this? And if it's like, okay, I'm doing this for this reason, boom, you put your head down, let's finish this. And don't get me wrong, I think we all kind of cut the same way, where if we commit to something, we want to finish it too as well. But the why has to come from in here.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think it also gets to a point where it has to be more than just about you too. Because you'll get to a point, if you stay diligent enough and you work hard enough and you're sharp enough, like money, for example. I stopped talking about monetary goals a long time ago, because what I realized is once you hit that goal, it's kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? Yeah. If it was just about the money, and this is another pro tip, it'll never be enough. Trust me. No. Every time you hit a monetary goal, you're gonna want more money. Yeah. And so then you have to challenge yourself to, for me personally, I had to make it about other people. Like, okay, I'm straight, but is my family straight? Okay, my family's straight, but what about the other kids out here that aren't straight? So it's like I had to keep manipulating myself in order to keep pushing, because, I was listening to, I think it was E.T. He was talking about, he had a mentor, and he was talking about certain kids were there on like a Bill Gates scholarship. And the funny thing is, I mean, these were inner city kids where, you know, Bill Gates probably never even been to Detroit, or at least, you know, the real Detroit. I don't know. And it was just amazing how someone can create so much wealth and be able to help so many people achieve their goals. But it's like, well, why can't we do that? Especially when we care the most about these kids.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that is just good to hear because it always helps level set me as to why we're doing certain things and why we have to keep pushing.
Think about it, it's reality. It's a small percentage of people who have that drive, who have that like, because when you hear their stories, they all kind of similar. It's like, hey, I wasn't giving up. You don't hear I lucked into this. You know what I'm saying? This just happened by mistake. No, it was some down and dirty like work that had to be done. There was some like low points where I believe, like Tyler Perry, you know, homeless, all these guys, Steve Harvey, they tell their stories how they had to grind, you know, and it goes back to outlasting your opponent. It's like if your opponent is you gotta get past those low points. You gotta get past that. And like you said, you guys talk about cutting it into little pieces. Okay, all right, my vision might have been here, my dream might have been here. So how do I break it down and start steps that I need to get there? They're going back to the process again. All that plays a part.
Now you can luck into a victory sometimes. Yeah, because we see it all the time. You know, YouTube superstar back when we were coming up, we were saying like an overnight success.
Yeah.
Somebody come out with a hit record, you're like, oh, it's just go. But did they stay around?
Because you do it a second time.
Can you keep doing it? That's the difference where it's not about doing it. It's like hitting the lottery. And most of they don't have the skill set to manage the money. They end up losing. A lot of people end up in worse positions than they were before they even had the money, because if you don't have the skill set to sustain it, a blessing can actually be a hindrance. Especially when you're talking about money, because that tends to change a lot of factors.
It was times where I'm like, I'm on a project. I'm like, this project going sideways. I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to just tell the boss, like, look, this ain't gonna work. You know, but then I'm like, no, I can't do that. I keep going. Okay, and this is where God come in. A break could come, or I'll see something like, oh, well, wait a minute. This person or that person, they got the answer. You wind up getting the answer. The project gets done. And you understand then, it's like, if I would have quit, it never would have happened. And so, a lot of times when we quit, man, that unrealized potential is gone. And then somebody else do it, and then you like, that should have been me.
Every time you don't quit, it's like you make another deposit in your internal bank account. So when you get into another challenging moment, you can go withdraw that deposit and say, you know what, I need something to get me through. And what it is it's a little piece of evidence that you can keep going. And that's the thing, to me, that's the number one benefit in not quitting, is because the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. And soon it'll just become of your DNA. Like that's something that I pride myself on, is if I give you my word, like, I'll be real, today was a challenging day. It wasn't you guys might not know, but we up at the crack of dawn. It was still dark outside before we got to rolling this tape. Everything comes with a cost. And, we went out last night. I had a short evening as far as rest. And I'm like, man, it's tough.
But I gave my word. Us, though. He went out. No. we didn't get a chance to party with Mike.
But it's important, though, because it's like, you know what? I gave my word, though. I said I committed to being here. And that's a habit I've created. If I give my word, I like to keep my word. So these are the things that are beneficial from creating that process of not quitting.
God isn't sitting here with this picture and saying, if you don't get this, then you're out of here. God cares about the progress that you're making, because everything that he wants you to do, all the principles in the Bible and the stories, are to help you to become a certain way. And so in that becoming, in that progress, it's gonna take just focusing on you. Because he's not comparing you to somebody else. He's comparing you to who you are supposed to be, who he called you to be. And so as long as you continuously move forward in life and in your goals and your relationships and your perspective on situations, then you are becoming the person that you were called to be. Now, just know the situation, the outcome around you, it's gonna look different as you continue to move forward. But if you're focused on that, or if you're focused on somebody else, you'll never get to be the person that you were called to be. So with that, thank you for tuning into the Today for Tomorrow podcast. Everybody, look, ain't no reason to be quitting. Make sure you got the right thing to go for in the first place. That's another episode. But once you're in it, don't quit. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, you're gonna love this one over here. Also, too, there's the Men 2.0.
Second Saturday of the month.
Second Saturday
Come
of
check
the
us
month.
out. If you're Michigan, Ferndale, actually, in Cabizos, you find information. You can find us. Come on out. 10 a.m. You can get up. Not super early, but you can make it.
Boom. With that, we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.